Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel with your boy Striker. We are going to be discussing the return of Roaring Kitty in today's Talking Head video. I think it's important right now because there are a lot of things that are different in 2024 compared to 2021. And this is just one man's opinion, so just remember this is for entertainment purposes. This is not legal, tax, or investment advice. All right, guys? Now, I'm gonna take the assumption here that you all already know the history from 2021 with GameStop. And so now with Roaring Kitty's return, the first thing that stood out to me when I started hearing the news and watching it on TV and so on and so forth was just the tone of Wall Street and the traditional media coming out just saying, you know what, this cannot be right. It should not be allowed. There's no way that he's legally doing this. Just an air of skepticism from the very beginning, and a tone of this needs to be stopped and this should not be allowed. And frankly, I just think that Wall Street in general is starting to, frankly, they're pissed from 2021 and the adoption of retail investment tools by retail investors to be able to participate in the same markets that they are in and to change the game, frankly. Now, how that game is changing, we'll see. It's difficult to really say. We all know that in general, there was this movement, this spark, you know, maybe related to the Occupy Wall Street saga that happened. It could just be in general gamers not wanting to let this company die. It could simply be people viewing this as a pump and dump. I mean, you can look at it a whole bunch of different ways, but you have to admit that it sparked a movement amongst the 30 to 40, 20-year-old generation, millennials and younger, with the new tools that they have to be able to invest in options like on Robinhood or cryptocurrency markets with Coinbase. You know, my generation and the younger generations behind me are really starting to come into their own, especially with boomers retiring, leaving the workforce. This idea of their investment portfolios are now shifting to the next generation, and the next generation is starting to take the reins. We're not there yet, but the transition is happening, and people are fighting against this resistance. That being said, going into the details of what Roaring Kitty brought up, I think it's important to note. Let me give you my personal perspective. I was getting ready to listen for the live stream, you know, his official return, and the thoughts that were going through my head were, what is he going to do different this time? How is he going to spark interest? Is he going to back off because of all of this legal discussions that are being brought up before his live stream? You know, there was talks about E-Trade kicking him off the platform. There was talks about the SEC investigating him, and I'm just like, there's no evidence of this. Why is this even a narrative? But regardless. So I really came in expecting, hey, there's going to be something different. Yes, maybe it's still going to be based off of GameStop. I can understand that, but there should be something different. So to my surprise, listening to his live stream, it doesn't seem like there was. It's the same GameStop trade that he had on before, but his reasoning is different. You know, if we go back to 21, it was very obvious. There was a big, huge short position on GameStop that was just overdone. I think there was more stocks that were shorted than actually existed in real life. So a clear mistake by the market that was being corrected and forced to correct by retail. And once retail understood the power that they had, they just pushed it to the limit. Okay. That also happened around the time of, you know, the stimulus checks coming up, the market getting hot because of it. Inflation hadn't started to pick up, but the seeds were being sown for it. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were through the roof, and specifically the meme crypto coin stock run of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, I believe, happened 1 month or within weeks of the GameStop saga. So when GameStop was going around, I was obviously in the crypto gaming markets. You know, that's where all my focus and attention was. Of course, I listened to it and I was paying attention to it because it's gaming related with GameStop. But all my attention was on crypto and with the meme coin run at the time. So you know, we're going to come back to that. No, but just remember the timing with meme coins and Roaring Kitty back in 21. That's important. So because I really didn't see or hear a major investment thesis, or I believe he said that the main reason for his investment was that he believed in the CEO Ryan Cohen, and that you would be dumb to assume that he hasn't been working on something over the past 3 years, which I'm sure he has. Here's my thing. Warren Kitty says that GameStop is going to have a transition, that we're going to go into a transitionary period, that GameStop is going to evolve into whatever the next thing is. If it's going to be gaming related, and we don't know that it is, but let's assume, I think that's a safe assumption that it's going to be gaming related. The problem is that when you review both traditional Web 2 gaming markets and Web 3 gaming markets over the past 3-4 years, there's not been a lot of innovation. Web 3 gaming has been, and NFTs and fungible tokens, that has been the innovation. Now, on the Web 3 side, we haven't had a major game go mainstream. We've had Axie, we've had plenty of other games where there was quite a bit of economy turnover. Maybe not the most successful projects, but regardless, shots on goal. That's the innovation right there. And I go back and I look at the Web 2 markets, and I look at like Asmongold, I look at Mongol, I look at Video Game Donkey, and all trying, Dr. Disrespect, all of them trying to take their shot on what gaming is going to become. You just heard about a couple weeks ago stories about IGN going up and purchasing some of the biggest gaming sites, generally because video game journalism is dying. And the reason why that's happening is because if you're a gamer and you want to get the most update or most impactful information, why not go and view the channel of one of the best players in whatever game you're loving? Why would you choose to read a random analyst or random journalist's interpretation of a game that they just got put on their desk to review, and then to move on to the next one where they don't have a specialty in the specific field? Where's the value? I guess that's the main question. And the same thing applies here. Gaming has been trying to ask, where's the value of the next thing that's going to happen? The console cycles, people were saying at one point in time, it's going to be the next generation that's going to come up. Then Nvidia's hit with crypto mining. They continue to get major adoption in the tech scene overall, pushing graphics cards prices through the roof, maybe even pushing gaming out a little bit at some points. So that doesn't seem like a big generational or transformational shift. So okay. Then the other thing I look at content creators, like I brought up, and all of them are starting publishing deals or creating their own games in Web 2 and in Web 3. I see that as like a big innovation of the next generation trying to take over, going back to the previous thesis. But still no major success there, at least not yet. And then obviously one of the big ones was that GameStop took their shot on goal. They tried the video game NFT marketplace. They partnered up with Immutable X, and they partnered up with Loopring. And what ended up happening after, 3 or 4 months, and once they received the funds, I believe, and hold me to this, someone post in the comments about the research, because I'm doing this off of my memory. But I could have swore that there was a grant by IMX that GameStop received to go ahead and help fund this project to get this thing going, and they immediately took the funds and just dumped on the market. Now, maybe that was IMX not writing a very good contract and not setting up some type of vesting schedule. Also, maybe it could have been more of an attack on crypto, saying, hey, look, if these funds are available to us right now, we're just going to take it. We don't care who we take it from. Or it could have just been Ryan Cohen's, in his previous history, he's known for simply dumping all his positions and moving out. Like what he did with, I think it was Bed Bath & Beyond, Bed Bath. I think he had just dumped the entire position, exited, got out, left a lot of people pissed off who were following him. Those people aren't part of his responsibility, but there is, or at least was, a movement behind Ryan Cohen. Not as large as Roaring Kitty, but there is something there, even to this day. So where's the innovation? I guess that's where we come down to. What other shot on goal can they take? Is it gonna, I can only see a re-entrance into Web 3, but I just don't believe that's gonna happen with Ryan Cohen. I I don't see it based off his history, based off of what happened with the GameStop NFT market and the fact that NFTs are being pushed back by traditional gamers. So it leads me to speculate, and this is the point where I have to just say, from here, these are just my personal thoughts and guesses, the complete speculation here. But I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together to kind of figure out what is this and what is happening. And the things that pop into my mind are, I don't think it's a coincidence that when everything started with Roaring Kitty in 21, that the meme stocks and meme coin cycle, the meme coin cycle in crypto, occurred either shortly before or shortly after. I don't think that's a coincidence. I also don't think that's a coincidence now that we're seeing meme coins in 24 and celebrity coins in 24 taking off, and now we have Roaring Kitty's return. Now let's assume that it's not crypto related. So okay, if I throw crypto out of it, then it could also be a play on timing, a play on macroeconomics, this idea of liquidity hitting the markets. The Bank of Canada, I believe, just cut interest rates the previous day, signaling to the market that cash is going to be more available, that liquidity is going to increase. Bank of Japan, I believe 2 months ago, had already made a deal with the U.S. to go again print dollars. So a bunch of money printer go burr, a bunch of investments in foreign markets, creating more dollars, more liquidity, driving prices up. Now, if that was the case, I would assume that he would say it. It's something that's easier, I would assume, for retail participants to understand. I don't think it's that crazy of a narrative. Maybe it's not his main thesis, and it's just the underlying environment behind his trade makes him more willing to take the trade. But $175 million position, in one stock in GameStop, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big risk, obviously. The third and final idea here about speculation could be that, it's been 3 years. Maybe he's gotten bored, or he misses the hype from the past. The movie was made about the guy. Maybe this idea of wanting to return to the spotlight. Of course, returning to the spotlight with $175 million position, he's really putting his money where his mouth is. Regardless, we're gonna see what happens. Following the crypto cycle and the stock market in general, if things, my perspective is that the market will continue to increase because liquidity is hitting the market, and will continue to do so for the next probably year. Previously in my other Lost Relics videos, I had mentioned that I thought we're in the middle innings, maybe the fourth or fifth inning of the game. Listening to more commentary, smarter minds than me, research papers that I'm going through, a lot of people are continuing to say, hey, we're still in inning 1, 2, or 3. We're still in the first third of the game. Maybe that's the case. Maybe things are just going to play out slower throughout the course of the election. This can't be a coincidence. I just can't see the reason why directly. So we'll leave it up to you. I'll put my ideas out there so that you guys can comment. Go ahead and leave those thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like and follow button. And for right now, that's Striker going to be signing off. We're going to get back to Web3 gaming soon, but I just wanted to give you my commentary because it's just on my mind. The Roaring Kitty, welcome back.